Vibe one time for your mind.
Still controlled. Don't get PTSD. We're going to have a good call-in show, y'all. We're going to have a real good call-in show.
Vibe one time for your mind. Vibe one time for your mind.
What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy, the coach, and we are here for our regular Saturday installment of the call-in show where I'm building the base. We are finally seeing light at the end of the off-season tunnel. We are officially 1 week outside of camp. I will be there to be there. Right now, I'm slotted to be in at least 3 practices. I'm excited about that. And there was a question that was posed by a good friend of mine, Digital Drew, that I'm going to start this call-in show with. I understand that we want to talk about Brandon Ayuk. I get it. I understand. And it's a real conversation to have, right? I understand that. But today's theme of the show is, what would be your leading concerns if Brandon Ayuk was signed? We can go all day about Brandon Ayuk. That doesn't mean if you call in and you want to talk about BA, we could talk about BA. This is y'all's time. So the show goes in whatever direction you guys want to. But have something along those lines if you do call in. I want to know what you feel about the team sans without excluding Brandon Ayuk, right? So this is the Brandon Ayuk is signed show. Okay? That's what this is. This is the Brandon Ayuk is signed show. Okay? So he's signed. It's all done. We're going into camp. What are you concerned about moving into camp? Okay? Are we going to keep 3 quarterbacks at the end of camp, or we're only going to keep 2? All right? Are we going to go with 6? Are we going to go with 6 receivers this year? Are we going to go with 7 receivers? Who's the odd man out? Right? Our defensive line is drastically different than it was the year before in just one offseason. All right? We've got Malik Collins, Leonard Floyd, Yetur Gross-Matos, Jordan Elliott are all newcomers. Right? How is that going to be? How's the shift? Right? Are we going to lateral over? Are we going to be as good as we were last year in the run game? Right? We got Huff coming back off of a big injury, right? With 2 young safeties in Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa. How does that look, right? Basically, hash to hash, our defense is going to look very different. I understand it's cool to talk about the offense. I get it, right? But, however, comma, as my mother likes to say, we got other big fish to fry. We got other fish to fry, man. We got some other things to pay attention to coming in. If we're looking at hash to hash inside of the defensive line, inside of that linebacker core with those safeties on the 3rd level, we've got questions on all 3 levels of our defense. And offensively, they get all of the love. And right now they have been because we're trying to sign BA, so rightfully so. But when the rubber meets the road, our defense is what we're led by. That's why we're elite. That's why teams are that's why we're hard to beat, because we give our slow offense, statistically, the slowest offense in the NFL. We give them the ball back at a higher clip than any defense in the league. That could change this year. Right? So what are some of your concerns coming into camp? Right? Does Debo carry over his phenomenal offseason? Debo has had a great offseason. He stepped up his leadership roles with bringing Ricky Pearsall under his wing, working out with Jacob Cowing. He seems to be in rookie shape. This is the most in shape I've seen Debo in 2 years. right? Who's going to be the 6 wide receiver if we keep 6? We've got Conley. We got Ronnie Bell, right? Who's going to be the odd man out? Is Braden Willis going to finally step up? Or or did we really have to go get another hired gun? Is Logan Thomas going to be our number 2? Cam Latu, Eric Saubert, Mason Pline. How's the battles in battles in the tight end room going to shape out? Offensive line. We got our 5 that we know are going to stay. Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brindle, John Feliciano, and Colton McKivitz. We're going to keep Dominic Pooney because he's our big pick. But then there's Jalen Moore and Spencer Burford who are holdovers. But who's the odd man out? Right now, John Feliciano's coming off an injury. So is Jake Brindle. You got Drake Nugent, the UDFA that was signed. Drake Nugent, the UDFA that was signed from Michigan. And then also you have Jarrett Kingston, the guard / tackle out of USC. Does he make any moves? So there's a lot of questions that we need to start asking. I'm excited about it because camp is finally here. So the light is at the end of the tunnel, right? But I'm gonna get my boy in here, JLP, man. What's going on, JLP? How you doing, bro?
Doing great, Coach. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. What you got for me?
Well, I wanted to put a couple things out there as far as if Ayuk was signed today, what will be my biggest going to be whether or not he's in football shape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen it from Devo, we've seen it from Bosa, we've seen it, where guys hold out to the last minute and just, they don't come in shape, and it takes them a while to get going.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the main thing that is going to concern me if that deal is done is next year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with 30 something free agents, how in the world are we going to sign them all? I mean, you're not going to. So you're going to lose some names, and some of them's going to be big names. So the team's going to look a lot different the year after. You know, just
So
thoughts.
with the team looking different, let's stick with this season. What do you think? What do you think that we need to be concerned about going into camp? Not even concerned, but what area of the team are you looking to see? Here like, oh, they look good on the run D. Up, you know what?
That's
Offensive line
that.
looks good. What are you paying attention to?
Those two exactly. Those two exactly, Coach. And it's exactly that run defense. You cannot get better in run defense by putting DeAndre Campbell out there in place of Dre Greenlaw. You just can't.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope to God Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott and all those guys can step up and do what they should do.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other question mark is going to be: is Suponga ready?
Yes. I mean, if Huff isn't ready, what type of faith do you have in Malik Mustafa?
I,
Because
I
that's
have
the
fa-
guy.
I have faith in him. He looks like he's ready for the part. Have you seen this dude's workout video? I mean, the dude is
I've
cut.
seen him. I've seen him. I'm not too mad. I'm not too upset with Malik Mustafa. I'm actually have a lot of faith in him coming in and being a plug and play guy. Honestly.
But as far as knowing our defense and that kind of thing, sometimes it takes a while to learn that. It's not like you're just going to come in off the street and all of a sudden you've mastered our defense.
Right.
There's a lot of ins and outs to it. Even though we play a base, wide nine, there's a lot of different other things that we do schematically wise
Mm-hmm.
that he's not going to know right off the bat.
Right. Well, defense is easy to pick up. I'd say defense is more along the lines of having a base skill set. Once you learn the defense, you need the reps, right? I feel like offensive football is more along the lines of like, if you don't know your assignment, you cannot be on the field,
Hmm.
right? Defense is assignment based football as well. I'm not here to say that, but I just feel like the Niners would be crazy. They always seem to get guys defensively who have already played shades of what we do already. So he's already going to come in with at least a college background of what we want to do on defense.
and,
I think he's going to pick up fast,
and
honestly.
and the boy's nasty from what I've seen. I mean,
Yeah,
just from what I've seen. I also too, I'd like to see what that Ronaldo Green is going to do at corner.
yeah, hell yeah.
You
I'm
know,
excited about Ronaldo Green. I thought they had him penciled in as safety, but that's somebody else.
Uh,
Don't be
either way,
surprised. Hmm.
either way, let's let the dude play. And hell, I want to see Daryl Woodard Jr. take another step. I want to see D Winters take another step. You know, those are the guys that we're looking at to be moving up into these spots once we lose some of these people.
Yeah. And that's it's like a family, Jay. It's like a family. You bring up the kids, so then one of these days they finally take over the bills. They start taking over the Christmases and the holidays, and the family goes on to be stronger. And hopefully, what you put in them pushes past you and it elevates the entire place. That's what the Niners are looking for with their young guys. They need to come in and push these young guys out. There's nothing wrong with saying that. That's the beauty of football and competition. All right. Somebody losing their job means that you got somebody who earned their job. Okay. That's the way it works. So
Mhm.
for me, I want to see some of these young guys pushing. Right. I understand that we got our tight knit group, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to turn into the fucking Rolling Stones where these guys are like fucking leathery
I
tan,
mean,
walking
at
around
some
with
point,
gray hair, doing all of their fucking promos
we're
with like,
let's hope let's hope that doesn't turn into the case. But at some point, I mean, if we keep going, they're gonna be out there with them little walkers and
yeah,
canes and
it's
shit.
gonna be Mick Jagger out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want us to be the old rock stars with gray hair and we look like skeletons. Like, no. Um, I I think that we're gonna get some push out of the D line for sure. I'm excited to see what Robert Bill Jr. is gonna do.
Yeah.
Drake Jackson, of course. I don't think Drake Jackson makes the team this year.
I don't see
Um,
it. I don't see it. I mean,
yeah.
he chances. I mean, he looked great in that Steelers game, the first game of the season last year. He had 3 sacks, and you didn't hear from him the rest of the fucking year. I mean, excuse my
No, you're
language. The
good. Hey,
rest,
look, you're home. Good.
just I mean, you didn't hear nothing else from him. So at this point, I keep hearing about all this athleticism, but then I keep hearing he's not strong enough at the point of attack.
Hmm.
So to me, which one is? I mean, I get he's athletic, he can do backflips and shit, but who cares? Can't get to the quarterback. I don't care what kind of backflips you can do. You know, you can do backflips all day long. Do that mess at home.
No, I understand, man. I look. Uh, if Drake Jackson makes this team, and he's not the only one, and I've talked about this before. If Drake Jackson makes this team, I'm going to feel the same way about that situation the way I feel if Devondre Campbell ends up being the starting middle linebacker. The same way I'm going to feel if Logan Thomas beats out Braden Willis and Cameron Latu.
Rude.
You see what I'm saying? It's
We
just like these guys, if they can come in off the street and beat out the guys that have been developing here, what does that say about our development?
if DeAndre Campbell is a starter, we're screwed. I don't know what kind of footage you've seen of him, but I've not seen anything good of that guy. I mean, I watched his Green Bay film. He's not very good. He doesn't cover the pass good. He doesn't cover the run good. I mean, what does he do good besides just be a body in there?
Yeah,
Hell,
agreed. Go ahead,
some
bro.
of the youth come up and take his spot.
Yeah, I think like I said, if these guys come in here and win and beat our guys out, I'm not going to be fooled. They better not come in here and beat these boys out. Hey,
That's
look,
a
deep.
lot out to though to see him make the team. I'm going to have to see a lot out of him. He better have one hell of a preseason, one hell of a training camp. Everything needs to be top notch. We're hearing about him making catches and not ever making a catch. I mean, come on now, make a catch.
Yeah, I agree. We got to see a lot from these guys. If they don't come in and push some of these holdovers out, these guys that we got, these free agents that we picked up that other teams were happy to let go. That's what I'm telling you, man. That is what bad teams do. You're going to start seeing a whole lot of Mr. Johns coming in. I'm telling you, when you grow up with a single mama, everybody get a Mr. John. You be like, oh, there's a new Mr. John. Be like, yeah. It's going to be another one in 6 months. Like, I'm telling you, man, all of that free agent stuff, us picking these guys up from free agency and not being able to grow our own guys, that's a recipe for disaster. I'm telling you. So, I want us to be able, and then also, I want to see what we're going to be able to do with the defensive line. So, hey, man, what you got for me, man, before we close out?
I was going to say the only other point is let guys go. Starters.
You're breaking up a little bit, Jay.
I said, a few years ago, we was letting guys go that are starters on other teams now. Now we're going to be picking up people that's supposed to be starters on our team. I don't know. Don't make no sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever, man. It makes no sense. So look, hey, man, call in again, man. We had a great time, bro. I'll see you next week, bro.
Peace out, brother.
All right, bro. Drew, you ready for me?
Man.
What up, Drew?
What's up, Coach? How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. Hey, I think you got to turn me down a little bit. Hold on.
I got you in my headphones.
Up. It was JLP. My bad. So you, oh yeah,
All
we're
right.
perfect. Oh, he's locked in. What's
I'm
good,
here.
brother? Hold on. First of all, let me get to this real quick. Manhattan John, I don't know if you saw the last couple of call-in shows. It was an event. But let me just read this super chat real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Manhattan John, 1999, thank you. Please, 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 just once a season moving forward, do a Coachella show. Never laughed so hard in my life. Coach, Brother Bob, Manny, dancing, of course. Just an idea. We'll get on topic after this comment. Okay, for sure, I will. It was a crazy show, but I have to admit, there was an endearing quality of it. So I will figure out how to pump in music later. I mean, I have so much control over it now. I honestly could do it now and just have music playing in the background, but it would just be a little too much. But yes, thank you, John. Drew, it was a crazy show. But anyway, talk to me, man. What you got for me? Because this show really was burst off you.
Oh, well, I'm honored for you to even say that, man. Well, you're talking about the question. You're talking about the question earlier. Yeah, I was. I mean, we were 45 minutes in, and I don't think we touched on a single subject. So outside of BA, and as important as Ayuk is, there's 90 other people about to be in Santa Clara in a week. We got a lot of questions, man. We got a lot of questions. Me jumping in, where my brain immediately went is that we hit on it when the season first came out, or when the schedule first came out. But we haven't hit on it again, and that is the rest deficit the Niners will face this season.
Worst in the league, I think.
Absolute worst in the league, I think, by like a couple of weeks or something. I mean, the deficit is the worst in the NFL. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of injuries. So our depth is really going to matter. I think it's key that we have all this youth coming in this year. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of people coming in out of that draft and other people we've brought in. We've added up much more depth. It seems like they've figured out that just having Bosa on that defensive line is not enough. You need the pieces to go around him to unlock him. Mm-hmm. I think we did get those pieces as far as the pressure up the middle, the pressure off the edges. He has a counterpart now in Floyd. So I think it's going to unlock him. But now we have another deficit in Greenlaw. How is he going to return? Is he going to return in time? Will we have to wait, 4, 5, 6 weeks into the season to see how he returns? So the free agency signing and other, rookie pieces we've added is going to become really, really important. If it all clicks, our defense could be right back into the top 5 of the NFL. I do believe in it that much. I think we do have the pieces and the leadership. But I think a lot of that hinges on Greenlaw. Where is he at? How does he return? Is he that that, sideline to sideline speed guy who can hunt down anybody? Is that Achilles just going to take his wheels away? I think is a giant question mark because the Niners defense, where the holes were, one thing they always had in their back pocket was speed. They were
Okay.
one of the fastest defenses in the NFL, and they gang tackled around the ball, and they utilized that speed. Having Greenlaw, even if he comes back 80%, that means he's a normal linebacker. He's still good, but he's just normal, and I don't think we could succeed deep into the season, deep into the playoffs with just a normal player in that position. So it's going to be really, really interesting. To flip it on the other side of the ball, if you take a look at the usage rates of Kittle, of Debo, of CMC specifically, and that rest deficit, I'm not shocked that the Niners really stacked up in the running back room because I think Kyle is going to have to break his habit, stop playing with his toy, let CMC get a little bit more, average use rate. Yeah, it's going to suck for our fantasy teams, but it means that come the playoffs, we're going to have fresher players. We really have to look at how much these guys are on the field, how often they're getting the ball. They're not going to have the downtime from week to week to rest up as much. So they're going to be carrying those dings, bumps, and bruises and injuries into those next weeks. So I think we have to be very, very judicious how we spend those offensive players, and we really got to keep an eye on it. But with the running back room, who it is, where we have that I can't remember his name, but the kid from Iowa.
Yeah.
He's
Tanner
a
Mordecai.
is it Mordecai? Who's the running back that we
The
picked
running
up?
guy is Cody Schrader.
Cody Schrader. There we go. Cody Schrader. He's a gamer, man. He's an absolute gamer. I think he's going to shock some people in camp, but I think that's a good thing. With Garendo, Schrader, and some couple other pieces there, I think that was a memo to both Mason and Mitchell of like, guys better show up. You better do all the things beyond just carrying the ball, and you got to stay healthy. So I think there's a big target on Mitchell this year that if he doesn't come in and just kill it in camp, he may be done. And the other question mark is how does Persall and Cowling do in camp? Can they pick up this offense quickly? Even as a receiver as good as Ayuk, you could tell that it took him a year or two, full year, full camp, couple camps to really pick up this offense. If they're able to pick it up well, show up on field and actually produce, I think that changes the conversation about Ayuk. So, but I'm really curious to see how quickly they fit in. Are they going to have a very basic, route tree in camp or in the preseason? And how do they produce? How do they produce after the catch? Because we are the yak leaders in the NFL, I believe, with our receivers getting the ball in space and then making something happen. We've yet to see really where Persall excels in that area. We know about Cowling. He could absolutely do that. So he may be a quicker fit into this offense than Persall is. But we'll see. Thoughts?
Well, number one, there's one thing that I wanted to talk about is injuries. Something that I feel like we need to keep a trend from last year that was definitely different is in 2022, we were the 9th most injured team in the NFL. If you want to go back since the beginning of the regimes, which is in 2017, we were the 10th most injured team in 17, 4 in 18. We were 6th in 19. We were number 1 in 2020 by a mile. Okay.
Yeah.
We were number 3 in 2021, and we were number 9 last year. We had a huge swing. I think this is one thing that is not necessarily noticed with what's been going on with the Niners this year. I mean, last season, particularly why not winning it this year, last year really hurt. We could talk about the NFL being in a down year. We can also talk about particularly the NFC being the youngest they have ever been as of late. All right.
Right.
And all of those things play. But one thing that we haven't noticed is that we swung from the 9th most injured team in 2022 to the 4th healthiest team in 2023. That is a huge swing. And
Right.
that's one thing that I feel like nobody necessarily understood about last year is that we kept CMC upright. He did
Yeah.
not. He wasn't out. We kept Brock upright. Okay, minus the major injuries that we had with Dre Greenlaw getting hurt, there wasn't necessarily any major injuries that took every
Hufunga was pretty big.
and Hufunga was a
Hufunga's-
big deal
yeah.
too. Exactly.
Yeah.
Huff was a big deal. But notwithstanding, we're used to literally watching the wheels fall off by week 1. That's what we're
Yeah.
used to. So I'm looking for us to be able to carry over what seems to be the most remarkable turnaround in our injury history as of late, especially
Right.
dealing with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, if we're looking at key players lost, that's another thing that I want to be able to talk about outside of Brandon Ayuk, right?
Yeah.
We lost Eric Armstead to the Jaguars. We know that, right? But let's start talking about some guys that we lost as far as depth is concerned. We can talk about the big guys where, like, we lost Eric Armstead. I think Eric Armstead is the only guy that we actually lost that was a big-time contributor. Maybe Tishawn Gibson.
Was he, though?
Right?
Was he, though? I mean,
was.
he earned a lot of his check on the IR.
Okay, I'll give you that. In spirit, he
Yeah.
was a big piece.
I mean, last 2 seasons, I think he played 16 games.
Well, okay,
So-
yes. Yeah. So that's something that I'll give you. But
Yeah.
I'll also put it this way. We lost more depth than we did high-end, top-end players. All right.
Right.
So let's go ahead and
Right.
remove Eric, right?
Yep.
We lost Javon Kinlaw, Charlie Warner, Cleveland Farrell, Randy Gregory, Ray McLeod, Oren Burks, Matt Pryor, Ross Dwelly. All right. Did I say Cleveland Farrell?
Yeah, you did.
Sebastian Joseph Day. All right. So we're looking at, for what it's worth, Chase Young. So if we're looking at depth, right? We added Malik Collins, Leonard Floyd, Yatir Gross-Matos, all right, Devondre Campbell, Jordan Elliott, Josh Dobbs, Chris Hubbard, Eric Schubert, and Rock Ya-Sin. That's not necessarily like a murderer's row.
No, but if we were to, I guess, step out a little bit and look at the bigger picture, right? The year prior, we lost significantly more depth, specifically along the defensive line, than what we did last year. I think Armstead going away is addition by subtraction.
True.
I think that's a big contract and a guy that you're depending on who just has hit the winter of his NFL career, and he's going to be hurt more than he's on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people wanted to look initially at signings like a Menahu and a Bacham and stuff like that and just kind of go, eh. But then when it came time for the season, you were like, wow, these guys, the drop-off from the starter to these guys is there, but not enough for the other team to take advantage of it. I think we've kind of returned to that. That's where I think Kyle and our GM, Lynch
John.
has, Lynch has really kind of learned from that. Of it's nice to have a 99 in Madden on your defensive line, but you better have some 80s and 70s in your pocket. Otherwise, you're not going to go far.
True.
Right? It's just not going to happen throughout the course of the season. And where we see all of this stuff is, as far as just straight injuries or depth and everything else, where that really pays its dues, the last 4 weeks of the season and the first couple of rounds of the playoffs. I mean, what did we see last year? Yes, we were healthy, but man, did we not limp into that Super Bowl. Dre was hurt. He was hurt going into the Super Bowl. Debo was a shadow of himself because he was also nursing all these injuries. It's one thing to get there and be healthy. It's another thing to really get there and be as close to 100% as you can get. I think these additions will allow us to do that.
Yeah. And I understand, and I feel like this is the point, this is the conversation that we need to have, right? Because we are built by our depth, right? We're used to being able to outpace teams, take them into deep water with being able to play our first quarter like our fourth quarter. And one of those things that I want to be able to see is that replicated throughout camp. Also, a couple of things that I wanted to bring up is just defensively, how we're going to be able to face what would seem to be a much tougher slate on defense this year coming up. I have this stat that I wanted to bring up, and I hope that I can find it because it was talking about the defenses that the 49ers had seen Here it is. All right, so we played on offense. The 49ers played the number 6 easiest schedule of defenses last season. Then we got the Packers in the divisional round, which ranked 27th in early down success rate and 23rd in EPA per play and and 30th in success rate. And the Lions in conference championships, where they were 30th. They were 30th themselves in early down success rate and 24th in EPA per play and only number and 14 in success rate. All right. Uh, with that being said, there's the Niners are going to be facing projected the number 26 toughest schedule on defenses, including the number 20th scheduled toughest passing defenses, but the number 16th toughest schedule of rushing defense, up from second easiest from last year. So what we're here to
Yeah.
see is that they're going to face a much tougher slate of defenses than they did last year. Last year, the only time that the Niners saw a defense that ranked in the top 10 of early down success rate, right? EPA per play, efficiency per play, and top 10 in 30 and top 10 in success rate, the Niners saw one team in the last 10 games of their season, and that was the Ravens. And we know
Yeah.
what happened when they saw the Ravens.
Yeah, it was not a good Christmas.
Right. So my thing is, we're gonna play the mediocre, right? We're gonna play the struggling to be good but struggling to be elite because they lack consistency, right? We're gonna get all of that. Our real question is, who are we when we see likely foes? When we see a team that looks like us, that they don't have glaring holes, they have their own starting five, they got their core the way we do. What are we going to do when it's time for us to show expertise? So that's my biggest issue with us outside of Brandon Ayuk, is that number one, we really need to be paying attention to infrastructure on how we're built. But number two, we got a much tougher slate of teams than we did last year.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Historically, under the Kyle Shanahan, regime, we have notoriously been very slow starters, right? It's not uncommon for us to come out the gates and go, 3-1, and then end up, 3-3, and then have to pick it up and slowly build that momentum. Last year was an aberration that we came out the gates hot, and then we had a 3-game losing streak. I think we're going to see more of a return of that on again, off again, win loss, win loss, win loss kind of approach this year.
I
As
agree.
the team figures it out, as the new players that have to get integrated start to figure this out. I think in years past you could probably lean on your superstars to do it, but our superstars are a lot of miles on those tires. And, somebody like Kittle, he did kind of have a bounce back season last year, but you could see his play style and Debo's play style leads to a lot of these little injuries week to week. And I think it all comes back to that rest advantage. We're going to have a harder schedule, and we don't get the rest that we did last year. So I think we're going to see significantly more injuries. I think the quality of our practice squad will come into play here. Unfortunately, hopefully it's not anything major, and it's just something short lived. And let's not forget the other teams in the NFC West. They are not moving backwards. The Rams
got
are
better.
better. Every single one of them got better. I think the only one you can even question right now is Seattle. They're kind of like, are they better? I don't know. But obviously Arizona and the Rams, they definitely got better. It would not shock me to see the Niners come in second in the NFC West to the Rams. That would not be a shock to me at all.
It wouldn't shock me either. I think I actually have the Rams winning the division this year.
Yeah.
Here goes a more succinct, that clusterfuck of a stat that I gave you. Here it is.
Yeah.
After the loss to the Browns in week 6, the 49ers played 13 games before facing the Chiefs. Only one of the 13 was against a defense that ranks top 10 in early down success rate. Only one was against a defense that ranks top 10 in EPA per play. And only one was against a defense that ranks top 10 in success rate. That one game was the same game in all cases in their 33-19 loss to the Ravens. So they faced one team that ranked top 10 in early down, because that's the crux of what we do offensively. Early down success rate. We kill
Yeah.
on first and second down. We
Big
don't even
plays.
see third downs. Yes.
Right.
We
Big
don't even
plays.
see third downs. Kyle, he gets you on your heels, and then he knows exactly where to go, because then it's a tete-a-tete, right? It's a volley where it's like, hey, I know what you're going to do now because you've made the ultimate mistake. So now we can play off of each other.
Right.
But when Kyle never gets that, if he doesn't get off first, there's trouble. If he doesn't get off first, if he can't front run the situation and he's got to quote unquote work off his back, it's a problem. So, go ahead.
Question for you, Coach. So I think that has been a thing that Kyle has had to wear around his neck like a scarlet letter for his entire career, is that once he gets down, he can't come back. Do you think the performances against Green Bay and Detroit in the playoffs last year may have reset his thinking on that front to the point where he's not pressing so much? He's maybe playing more intelligent football and situational football, knowing, hey, I got a cat back there who can actually lead us back. If we get down, it's not over. Sometimes you just need to do it a couple times before you start believing in yourself. Might we see that transition in Kyle and how he calls a game now, based on those performances and the fact Purdy's back there?
I'll tell you this. There is going to be a trust relationship between Kyle and Brock that will have to grow in order for them both to survive. So I will say that. I've seen it. But in a way, it's unbalanced in a way. Take the Cincinnati game. Nobody was doing their job early in that game, defense included. Right. 19 straight completions from Burrows. The offensive line Trent was jumping off sides. They were holding. They were dropping passes. The only person that came to play that game was Brock. Early on, he was consistent. That's I always talk about that game because that's the game that won me over. That's the game that made me say, okay, he's a guy. Leave it alone. Stop assessing him. He's a guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I saw in that game was the offense necessarily was like Kyle has a hard time. It's almost like he coaches in the same way that he has a relationships with these guys, where it's completely like lopsided, where I want you to do something for me, but I'll never have that tough conversation with you, right? In order to say, I'm your coach, you are my player, do what the hell I said. Like, we're going to do this. And I don't care what the defense is doing right now. I told you we're running out of eye and we're getting these 3 yards. We're doing this. And I feel like at times Kyle he gets too cool for school, where it's like, my man, why don't you just line up the offensive line? Who cares if Trent is tired? Look him dead in his face and say, yo, you're going to have to be tired for this whole drive. I'm sorry. Hey, guys, we're running the entire drive, and you're going to have to suck it up. And no, I'm not bailing you out with a great play. No, I'm not going to give you a stick beater on third down. No, we're not going to go 5 wide. You're going to have to breathe hard and be tired for 20 minutes or for 10 minutes. I'm sorry. And I just feel as though that his play calling is a little too, it's too economical. It's too, it's almost like, it's too player friendly. It's too player friendly. It's an apology. It's like, there's certain times where you watch the Chiefs and it's like, nah, they running the ball. I really don't think Andy Reid gives a damn how tired anybody is right now. They're running the ball. This is what the game calls for, and they're going to do it. I feel like with the boys, Kyle almost kind of shares the emotional despair with them as a player, where if they don't feel it, he doesn't feel it, and it's like, okay, so we both are embarrassed. Like they do not like you. All right, so it's like, you ever seen somebody fighting and it's like you know they're losing because they're angry, and it's like they're angry because they're embarrassed, and they should be keeping their hands up and staying focused and calm and staying in the fight. I
Yeah.
feel like when we get in those positions in games, we lose our focus and we start paying attention to the fans and we start paying attention to how we look right now and our opponent, and we're not front running right now. So what type of team are we right now? Like it's just the wheels fall off. So that's what I want to be able to see with Brock and Kyle, right? To kind of bring the point home. I want to be able to see that. I feel like that's going to get eradicated because Brock is going to start having his own expectations of what the guys are supposed to be doing on the
Right.
field. Where now Kyle has a true middleman now, where Kyle can say, hey man, Brock wanted to run this. Right? Where, you know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
now it's like where Kyle can look at Brock dead in his face and say, how do you feel about this? And now there's no more, and the way this is, and I gotta be quick because we got some guys now. But
Oh yeah, you got some guys stacking.
but what the traditional way is the military way. All right? Like if I'm a private, I don't get to just go talk to my CO. I got a platoon leader. As a matter of fact, before I have a platoon leader, I have a squad leader. I need to talk to my squad leader first to see even if what I want can be rectified on that level. And then if my squad leader can't handle it, then we go to the platoon leader, then we go to the company leader. And then finally, if it's that serious, the CO gets involved. I think with Kyle, him wanting to be so hands-on with the offense puts him in a position where he's got way too much going on in the back of his mind when he's calling games because he's got all of those relationships. And if he just
Right.
had one relationship that mattered, which is Brock, he'd be able to have a much more streamlined thought process in calling games.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And hopefully putting if he's able to do this, good leaders do pass down responsibility, right? I think
Right.
Brock's going to be the guy who takes it, demands it, that responsibility. And you kind of saw that as a rookie, guys talking about how he is in the huddle. I think he's going to be that guy. And maybe that allows Kyle to kind of float, get a bigger perspective, worry about other aspects of the team beyond just being, kind of your offensive guru. Let him be an actual head coach. Go
He
worry
needs
about
it.
special teams. Go worry about defense. Maybe this is the buffer that finally unlocks that for him. But
Dude, I
hey,
really
man,
hope so, man.
Coach, it was amazing catching up finally. Again, I know it's been a bit, but I am glad to be back on here with you, man. It's wonderful to see
Gotta
you.
get you back on here, bro. Hey, I always love you, man. Come back, man. Come back.
Will do.
All right, brother. Talk to you, man.
Take care.
All right. Hey, you ready for me, Niner Gang? Oh, Niner Gang ain't even here. That's crazy. All right, PDX, it's on, man. It's on. This is my guy. Yep, I got you
Okay.
transferred in. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. It's summer. Working at my grandma has a blueberry field, so I'm working out there for some extra cash. And now I'm at the call-in show, which I wasn't able to make last week, but here I am.
Hey, man. Look, Blueberry Farm. Talk to me about that, man.
What do you want to know about it? I mean, it's
All
it's
right, so
blueberries.
so are you in your you have a so like is there a season? Like is it like what do you guys do? Do you guys sell them your own on your own? Do you guys push them out to like market? What are you guys doing?
It is seasonal. It started last week and it goes about a month. So from like middle of July to middle of August. And then it's just a U-pick field, but we do take orders. So most of the time people come in, they either bring a bucket or we give them a bucket, and they come in, they pick, and then they come back. We weigh in, we check them out, and on their way to go.
One more blueberry question.
All
One
right, all
more.
right.
Is there a difference between going to get them organically and store bought?
Yeah, there's a huge difference.
Talk to
Like
me.
if you go and get like a store bought blueberry has like no flavor in it, right? Like it doesn't really. It tastes like it's like
It's more
mushy.
tart.
And yeah. That's because they sell them before they're fully ripe, so that they'll stay fresh on the stand a lot longer.
Oh,
If you go pick it in the field, and it depends on the variety, and there's tons of different varieties, right? They should be sweeter, and a lot better tasting. I can't eat grocery store blueberries in my life anymore.
Like
It's just not
it's
possible.
that much of a difference.
It's a huge difference. It's shocking.
All right, I need to go. I need to go some fresh blueberries then, because I've been like a huge like I have this fruit before noon thing that I do. So I love eating fruit before noon. And that's
Gotcha.
all I have. So it's like I'm gonna go get some. Want to go get some, yeah. Niners Worldwide said it's a huge difference.
Yeah, and the so if you go get blueberries, the thing that you can do with them, like if you want to get a lot, is that they're like maybe the best freezing berry that you can have. So like they hold up for like half a year on the freezer, and they'll
What?
still be. Oh yeah, yeah.
See, man, and you didn't even want to talk about blueberries. Look at this, bro. Look at this. Okay. So look, let's break into the Niners, man. What are you most concerned with, or what are you most excited, or just what is something that's top of the list for you if Brandon Ayuk was signed? Go.
If Brandon Ayuk was signed, what's the thing I'm most worried about? The thing I'm most worried about is who we'd have to let go to keep him because there's going to be some casualties. Debo's an obvious one. That's I think survivable from a team
Right.
perspective, but not ideal. I mean, Debo is maybe the best offensive player in the league at his best, but
Mm-hmm.
like we've only seen that once, right? So,
Right.
uh, but I'd have to imagine that there would be other cat casualties. I would think that maybe Drake Greenlaw would be a cap casualty with his injury. There's uncertainty there. He's an easier contract to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'd be worried about losing Aaron Banks, and I'm not. I'm so mixed on keeping him because of how guard contracts are and like how he's very average. So like, do you really want to pay a premium there, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think Aaron Banks is going to Lincoln Tomlinson us.
yeah,
Same thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I really wish we had a better pipeline behind him because he's not really somebody I would like to target and keep when we have like Lenore and Charvarius Ward and all these other people up on the
Right.
docket.
Right. I
So
mean, I understand that. I mean, so really your biggest concern would be I like where you went with this, honestly. So your biggest concern would be not necessarily, oh, let's break into football business as usual. You're still sticking with the same track of like, okay, so if we sign him, who would we lose? Right?
yeah,
So, okay. I like that. Yeah, there's we've got about 30 free agents next year. There's going to be a huge I think we got away with murder or not so much got away with murder, but I think we got a reprieve uh with COVID hit because 2020 was really supposed to be when all this happened. When
right.
all of the contracts came up and we got the cap actually went down, everybody came back and signed for 1 year and it gave us a chance to scramble and get everything together. I don't think we're gonna get that. I don't think we're gonna get those contingencies this year. Uh
No, no, and we made the wrong all in move with Javon Hargrave, right? Like I liked our defensive line much better when it was Bosa and then Ebukam and Aminihu and all our whole squad. We were running like almost two lines deep. It wasn't all superstars, but they were all really good players, and like those are the type of sacrifices as far as uh, like when you sign a player and you're giving out a big contract. I personally don't want to make that sacrifice even with Brandon Ayuk. I want depth. I want tons and tons of options.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, look, I understand. I mean, tons and tons of options. We're gonna have to whittle it down at some point. I mean, too many options basically put you in a position where you don't know where you're going. So options is a good thing, but too many options can also be a thing as well. For me, I see a big shift in how we're gonna move our defense. I mean, I don't see the depth there, not yet,
No,
right?
I don't either.
I see the bodies, right? The players are there. We've replaced what we've lost, but I need to be able to see exactly uh where these guys stand with, uh what is Malik Collins gonna look like, his Leonard Floyd, Leonard Floyd is in his 30s. Can he give us another full year, right? Yetur Gross-Matos is somebody who was a really improved player, but let's face it, he did not get it done in Carolina. That's why he's here. And he was a second-round pick for these guys. So Jordan Elliott is a guy who we're hoping that Coach Kasarik can turn around. That's my biggest thing on defense, hash to hash, all three levels. The safety's going to step up. What are we going to do with Devondre Campbell is our Jalen Graham and Jalen Graham and D Winters. Are they going to push him out? And how did Jordan Elliott and Malik Collins step up? And also, you know who's getting away with murder? Javon Hargraves. Bro, I need more cowbell. More cowbell.
It wasn't good. Like, he wasn't a bad player last year, but he was the top.
Y'all gotta check this out. This dude on Better Picks just turned.
Sorry, go ahead.
We paid him a premium and we gave up so much depth to get him. It needs to be better. He needs to be a stalwart, or we need to let him go. And it's really that simple.
Yeah, I mean, we overpaid. It's not the fact that he's not performing; it's what we paid to get him for. Like, bro, like, come on. So I mean, look, it does. It sucks. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, look, man. Give me right now. I need your season prediction. Give me your season prediction. Your too soon season prediction.
Without looking at the schedule, I think 10-7, and probably second in the NFC West. I mean, I know people have made a big deal out of the whole rest advantage thing, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's unfortunate, but you just have to overcome it. But we're also coming off of a really long season, and I just think that all of this stuff eventually adds up and catches up to you, and you kind of you take a step back, and I think that's where we're going. Whether or not that means poor postseason run, I don't know. That's to be determined. But for the regular season, I don't see us dominating like we did.
Okay. So give me a hardcore record.
10-7.
All right. We're rocking. Hey, man, call again, man. You know I love your engagement, bro. Hey, yo, I'm about to go get some fresh blueberries now. You've got me like completely locked in.
Yeah, dude. Always go for, if you can go get it fresh, go get it fresh. It's totally different.
Definitely, bro. Hey, man, you have a good one, bro. I'll talk to you, man.
All right, peace, man.
All right, bro. My man, Yonas. What's good, Brody?
What's up? Can you hear me, bro?
I got you, bro. What's up?
Yeah. What's up? I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. What's the latest, greatest?
Everything is well. No, but one thing I wanted to pick up on Hargrave that you just brought up. What if I told you, Coach? What if I told you that Charvarius Ward and Javon Hargrave were both signed just because they played well against the Niners?
That's shots, boy. That's shots. Explain.
I'm not even joking. Like,
explain,
it's true.
bro.
Like,
Explain.
Yeah. Okay. In the press conference when they both were signed, Kyle Shanahan is like, he played really well against us. For both of them. He played really well against us. Like, he didn't really expand on what they're really good at or whatever. He's like, Charvarius Ward, he played well against us in the Super Bowl. Javon Hargrave, I was impressed with his tape when I was getting ready for the NFC Championship. That's what he said.
Load up. Come on. Talk about it.
So
Talk
it's
about
like,
it, bro.
We got a coach that is signing people that is based on who he likes. Not necessarily like, is it a team fit? By the way, Ward has been amazing. So that's a great signing. But I'm just saying, like, the process of it. Like, the process of signing a player just because he played well against you. But that's how Shanahan rolls. He runs the team, by the way. I don't want to hear John Lynch. I don't want to hear any Parag. He runs the team.
Talk right now, Yoni. Go ahead. Do your thing, man. Talk right now. Talk right now, dog. Talk. I want to hear it, dog. Let's go. My man, you're killing him, dog.
Headshot.
My man gone. Let's go.
He runs everything from I don't know. Like they got a vending machine in there. He runs it.
Uh-huh.
He runs practice. He runs the pass. He runs the draft. I got another one for you.
What else does he run? Go.
Oh no! But I got like another player that he drafted just because he really liked him, and he was worried that Mike McDaniel was gonna take him at 42nd overall. That's
Name
pure
him.
salt.
Name him.
Pure salt. Mike McDaniel was gonna take him 42nd overall. I'm not even joking.
Dog, you got to keep coming on the show because you spitting that real stuff that we all know. I'm going to tell you this right now. He picks players he likes because he is drafting for a recipe. Okay? It's a recipe. It's not for a diet. And when you shop for a recipe, you go and get the players for your specific dish that you need to make. But we all know that you can't eat eggplant parmesan for breakfast, bro. You're gonna have to be able to go out there and get a full bevy of players, man.
I mean, what was the biggest issue with this whole team last year? It was run defense and inside O-line, basically the interior of both lines, right?
Yes.
What did we do to fix it? Okay, I love Purdy, by the way. I love that. That's a great pick. That's a great value pick. But it's like, why didn't we get anyone in free agency, like an inside offensive lineman, like something to fix that? Because when I look at anyone but Trent, by the way, including Aaron Banks, with all due respect, I know the fan base loves him. All four are replacement level. Everybody except Trent Williams is replacement level. That means if you took them out, you wouldn't notice. If you took them out with another average player, you wouldn't notice the difference.
Hey, look, I'm going to tell you this right now. We got to be able to build this team from the ground up, Yoni. And the people that we get on during the draft, the people that we bring in during the free agency, they got to be able to show and prove, or they got to get up out of here. I, for one, am starting to realize some cracks in the core, right? Trent Williams is getting older. What are we going to do with George Kittle? All right. Really, right now, I've talked a lot of, let's just say what it is. I talked a lot of shit about Brandon Ayuk. I've been saying, like, yo, you know, your ass need to be here, and I get all that. But the truth is that this offense, if they don't win it this year, where are we? Where are we?
Yeah. I mean, he's the only young and ascending player, like I told you the last time.
Bro.
Like, if we get rid of, not get rid of, but like, let's say he's off the team. You got a 29-year-old Debo in 2025, a 29-year-old running back, basically two running backs at 29 years old between McCaffrey and Debo. And then you got 32-year-old Kittle. You got 37-year-old Trent Williams. Are you kidding me? Like, that is a ticking time bomb. All four are ticking time bombs.
It's coming, man. It's coming, Yoni. They know it and I know it, man. They know it and I know it, man. The clock is ticking, bruh. The clock is ticking, but they don't value it. They don't value it. You know what I'm saying? They don't value it. I will tell you this. I want to see the transition. We really, I mean, for what it's worth, we're just going to have to reside to the fact that we got to see what this team is going to look like with Brock as the guy. Brock is the guy now. They're going to pay him like the guy. And, you know, we got to see how they're going to draft. They can't draft like they have everything under control anymore. They're going to have to start drafting to protect Brock now. It's going to be different.
Because the so-called core are all declining. Like, have you ever seen one of those graphs where the line is on the way down? I mean, almost all of them but probably the only one who's still in his prime, I would say, is Bosa. But besides him, tell me who is in their prime of their careers.
I would say Debo's still in his prime.
But it's the latter. Wouldn't you say it's the latter half?
I'll help you out. I would say Debo's in his prime. Debo's smack dab in the middle of his prime. He just don't be in shape. I would say Brandon Ayuk is just coming into his prime. He's not even there yet. I would say Trent is at the end of his prime. So is Christian. I think Christian's on the backside of his prime. So is George. I don't know what to say about Fred. I think Fred is in the middle of his prime. He's still there.
I agree.
But I think that this is going to be. I think that this will be the last year we'll see like Fred at like the best of his abilities, because he's going to start creeping up on 30. But nah. That's too much. He's a linebacker. Linebacker's last. I'm tripping. Linebackers
And also,
can go into their 30s.
He doesn't play that physical, coach. He doesn't
exactly.
play like that.
And he plays a protective style. You are correct, Yoni. So I would say, this is a great question. You know who I would be very interested to know where they kind of stand in their prime, and like we never know this, but has Nick Bosa hit his ceiling? You know what I mean? Like, is this the best that we're gonna? Was not last year, but the year before last, when he was Defensive Player of the Year, had the 19 in sacks, all of that. Was that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I'm interested about that. By the way, coach, one thing that is crazy to me is when people say, well, 2022, he had more help. But when I look at the D-line in 2022, I don't see, like, did we have much better edges than we had last year? I mean, I like Ebukam, but I thought he was just okay. I thought Nick Bosa was the dominant force that year.
Well, okay, I'll give you that, but this is why Nick Bosa was granted to be in the dominant force, and was granted to be the dominant force that year, is because what you don't realize, Samson Ebukam, and Charles Omenihu, and Cleveland, right, and Cleveland Farrell, all right, and these guys that they had, they were remarkable in run support.
Yep.
That's what hurts Nick. When Nick can't just go after the quarterback, and he has to be a full-fledged 100% player on both sides, where he's got to play the run, he's got to get chopped down. It's not the fact that he's worse or not as effective of a player, but he doesn't splash as much because he's got way too many more things. He's got a lot more to do, right? There's nobody necessarily protecting him. But when we had all of that depth, those guys were remarkable in the run game, and it kept Nick fresh. Say that again.
So he could focus on pass rush. That's
exactly. It kept him fresh.
Maybe that's why Gross Matos is a good pick, because I have noticed he's really good in run support.
He is very good in run support.
Yeah.
So hey, man, I think this is a great. Yo, Yoni, man, you got to keep calling back, man. I love it when you call, bro.
Yeah. Should I give my prediction too, or?
Yeah, I'm about to close out.
Too early. By the way, this is pre-camp. I'm gonna make one after camp too. After we see injuries and all of that, who knows what happens. Right now, I probably see us as 11-6. That's what I see. But I think they win the NFC West.
You think they win the NFC West at 11-6?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Well, look, bro.
Yeah.
I got that. We're locked in. I'll see you when you call in again, bro. Thanks for calling, bro.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for.
Talk to you, man. All right, guys. So look, that was the end of another. I don't know what the hell this is. Sorry. That was the end of another good show. You know what I'm saying? We're going to call in next week. Like I said before, me and Marco Martinez, me and Marco are going to be here on Tuesdays. Me and Tom on Wednesdays. Me and Grant on Thursdays. Coming in with a new show on Fridays. And guys, we finally are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to be in Santa Clara for a week. I'll be there for at least 3 practices that I know of now. And we're going to be streaming live from there, man. So look, this your boy, the coach. I did not smoke on camera. Do not do that, Dale. But this your boy, the coach. Stay low and keep your feet moving, man.